They said, "You're alone now." They smiled for cameras. They turned their backs. No one saw the cell phone vibrate in her hand. No one heard the call that would change everything. Just an unusual story, where the coldest revenge is born from the warmest silence. My daughter-in-law left her phone on the kitchen counter. It rang, and on the screen appeared a photo of my husband, Arthur, who had died 3 years earlier. I opened the message and felt my heart nearly leap out of my chest at what I read. What I discovered destroyed my world. But before I go on, make sure you're subscribed and write in the comments where you're watching from. We love knowing how far our stories travel. Mom, did you see my phone? Juliana's voice echoed from the hallway as I stood frozen, the phone burning in my hands like a live coal. It's here in the kitchen, I managed to say, forcing my voice steady as I quickly locked the screen and placed the phone back on the counter. At 65, I thought I'd seen enough of life to no longer be shocked. 3 years had passed since I buried Arthur, my companion of nearly 40 years. Cancer had taken him quickly, or so I'd always believed. Now, a single notification unraveled everything. Juliana entered the kitchen, her face lit by her usual radiant smile. She was the perfect wife for my son, Daniel, or so we all believed. Always polished, always helpful, always present for her weekly visits to her widowed mother-in-law. A role I'd grown to resent, yet accepted these past years. "Thanks," she said, grabbing the phone. "I've got to run to the clinic. Patients are already waiting." Juliana was a respected physical therapist in our small Massachusetts town. She kissed my cheek and left as quickly as she'd come, unaware of the storm she'd just unleashed inside me. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time, my hands still trembling, my mind full of unanswered questions. The photo left no doubt. It was Arthur, younger than in his final years, wearing a blue shirt I'd never seen before. His smile, wide, genuine, something I hadn't seen in our marriage for years. And the message, meetings on Thursdays. During Arthur's final years, Juliana had often volunteered to drive him to medical appointments every Thursday. "You're too overwhelmed, Eleanor," she'd say with that perfect smile. "Let me handle it. It's the least I can do." And I, grateful for the help, never questioned it. Now, memories began clicking into place like pieces of a dark puzzle. The phone rang. It was Daniel. "Mom, are you okay?" "Juliana said you seemed strange when she left." "I'm fine." I lied, my voice firmer than I expected. "Just a headache. We can reschedule Sunday lunch if you're not feeling well." "No," I said quickly. "It's still on. Actually, I have something I need to discuss with you both." There was a pause. Daniel, always sensitive to shifts in my tone, the trait he'd inherited from his father, asked, "Did something happen, Mom?" "We'll talk Sunday." I deflected. "Don't worry. Everything's under control." I hung up before he could ask more. In truth, nothing was under control. For years, I'd believed I knew my husband inside and out. Now, a single notification had shattered that certainty. I walked to Arthur's old study. Since his death, I'd avoided touching his things. His desk remained exactly as he'd left it. Books neatly shelved, pens in their holder. Not out of sentimentality. Out of simple acceptance. I'd always assumed I'd gather the strength to sort through it. Someday. But today, I wasn't looking for closure. I was looking for answers. I opened the drawers. The first held organized documents, bills, bank statements, insurance policies. Arthur had always been meticulous with finances. The second, office supplies. The third, locked. I'd never noticed that before. Why a locked drawer? We'd never kept secrets, or so I believed until a few hours ago. In the last drawer, I found a small keyring. I tried each key in the lock, until the third one turned with a soft click. My heart pounded as I pulled the drawer open. Inside, a plain brown envelope. I opened it with trembling hands. Dozens of photos spilled out. Arthur and Juliana, embracing, laughing, standing in front of a wooden cabin I'd never seen, labeled in handwritten chalk, "Our refuge, away from prying eyes." Dates on the back, 3 years before Arthur's death. But what struck me most wasn't the betrayal. It was his expression. He looked alive, radiant, as if he'd finally found joy in our marriage's final years. At the bottom of the envelope, a key with a wooden tag. Refugio, a folded slip of paper with coordinates to a cabin in the mountains an hour from town. I placed the photos back, tucked the key in my pocket, and closed the drawer. My mind was no longer clouded by grief, but by cold, clear determination. The phone buzzed again. A text from Juliana. Running late tonight. Meeting after work. Don't wait for tea. Every Thursday, Juliana came for our tea time, a tradition she'd started after Arthur's death. Can't let you sit alone with your memories, she'd said. I checked the time, 2:30 p.m. Plenty of time. I grabbed my purse, the photos, the key, and left. In the hallway mirror, I saw a gray-haired woman, wrinkled, weary, but no longer naive. Not anymore. I whispered to my reflection. I entered the coordinates into my GPS. The road wound through dense forest, sunlight barely piercing the canopy. Finally, the cabin appeared, nestled among ancient pines, just like in the photos. I parked a distance away and watched. It looked empty, silent, but the garden was meticulously tended. Someone still came here. The key turned smoothly in the lock. Inside, Cozy lived in. Two of everything, mugs, towels, toothbrushes, photos on the wall, Arthur and Juliana at the beach, in the mountains at holiday dinners. On the nightstand, a photo of Arthur sleeping peacefully. In the closet, his clothes, and men's clothes in a size that I'd never seen. She continued coming here, after Arthur's death, with someone else. Then I found it. Deeds showing the cabin owned by Juliana. Bank statements from a secret account in Arthur's name. And an insurance policy, $1 million, with Juliana as sole beneficiary, dated 6 months before Arthur's death. My blood ran cold. I called Daniel. I need your father's full medical records. All of them. Mom, that's a HIPAA violation. I could lose my license. I don't care. Do you trust Juliana? Silence. Then, lately, no. Meet me at these coordinates. Now, don't tell her. As I waited, I found Arthur's diary. The final entry 1 week before he died. Something's wrong. The new treatment is making me worse. Jay gets defensive when I ask about the meds. Eleanor wants a second opinion at the university hospital. Maybe I should tell her everything. Headlights appeared. Daniel arrived first. Then, moments later, Juliana's silver SUV. And she wasn't alone. Dr. Renato, Arthur's oncologist, stepped out beside her. I hid the diary and photos in my bag. Daniel slipped into the bedroom. I sat calmly by the fireplace as they entered. Juliana froze. Eleanor, what are you doing here? Dr. Renato's face paled. I could ask you the same, I said, voice steady. How interesting that Arthur's widow and his oncologist would meet here at his secret refuge. Juliana recovered fast. It's a retreat for special patients, she lied smoothly. Dr. Renato kindly offered the cabin after Arthur passed. I nodded toward the framed beach photo. And these therapy sessions included holding hands like lovers? Dr. Renato stepped forward. Mrs. Shaw, you're clearly distressed. I'm not distressed. I cut in. I'm stating facts. My husband was poisoned. You two conspired to kill him for a $1 million insurance payout. Juliana laughed, a sharp, nervous sound. You're delusional, Eleanor. Arthur died of cancer. No, I said, locking eyes with her. He died because you wouldn't let him live. Then the bedroom door opened. Daniel stepped out, phone in hand. I recorded everything. He dialed 911. The police are on their way. Juliana lunged for my bag. Where's the diary? But Daniel grabbed her wrist. Dr. Renato bolted for the door, straight into 2 waiting police cars. At the station, forensic accountants confirmed. Fake medical records. Overdose chemo drugs. Offshore transfers to a joint account, Juliana's and Dr. Renato's. But the final twist came weeks later, when Adriana, Arthur's niece, confessed from prison. Jorge, Arthur's brother, was my father. He and Juliana plotted to kill him for his business. Arthur suspected So they killed him next. I helped. I wanted revenge for my father. She'd even planned to take Daniel's son, Noah, that very night, until we intercepted them at the cabin. The trial ended swiftly. Juliana and Dr. Renato, life in prison. Adriana, 30 years. The insurance money was returned. We donated it to a children's cancer research fund in Arthur's name. Today, Daniel, his new wife Luciana, and Noah live 2 blocks away. I garden, paint, travel with Eduardo, a kind widower I met on a book tour. And every Thursday, I still have tea with my family. Because the truth didn't destroy me. It freed me. They taught her to disappear. But they forgot to teach her that silence can also be a weapon. Just an unusual story, where the quietest truth echoes forever. If you've ever been underestimated by your parents, comment, "I saw it." If someone needs to hear this, share it. Subscribe. The next ruin has already begun.